Good afternoon, everybody. It's time for Snap Count Monday. First Snap Count Monday after a loss, but win or lose, you can still learn a lot of things from the Snap Count chart after a game. And after having a chance to take a look at how we distributed snaps on Sunday, there's some stuff we did that I do like and some stuff we did that confuses me. So let's dive in, starting with the offense and specifically the running backs. And I kind of like what we did here. So the Seahawks had 54 snaps on offense against the Titans, which is the exact same number they had against the Colts. They had 54 against the Colts, 54 against the Titans. So interesting synergy there. Now, 54 plays is not enough. It wasn't enough against the Colts, and it really wasn't enough against the Titans, and I'll get into why in a minute here. But on those 54 snaps, we actually did a pretty good job distributing snaps among running backs. As you can see, Carson played only 34 of those snaps, which comes out to about 60%. Not even, actually. So Carson saw a reduced workload against the Titans, which makes some sense because they were shutting him down. They did a great job against him, I have to say. He got the ball a decent number of times and just couldn't do anything with it. Now, Penny was out, so he didn't get any snaps. Alex Collins was not the main beneficiary of Carson's reduced workload. He only got 6 snaps, which I'm going to admit I don't totally understand. Alex Collins touched the ball one time on Sunday and ran for 25 yards, and we saw him play really well in the preseason, and we know he's a good player. I don't know why he's an afterthought when he's your backup running back, effectively. So it was not Alex Collins, who now has 6 snaps on the season. DJ Dallas did not play on the offense at all, which surprises me a little bit. The main beneficiary was actually Travis Homer, who picked up 14 snaps against the Titans. Now, there are some obvious reasons why this is. He's the best pass blocker on the team. He's also a good third down back out of the backfield. We found ourselves in a lot of those situations. And it's not like he did terribly or anything on Sunday, but I find it curious that Collins isn't getting more of the work here. But nevertheless, we've reduced Carson's workload pretty effectively. So I do like that. Would like to see more of the snaps go to Collins, though. All right, wide receiver is pretty much what you would expect. Metcalf played almost all the snaps. Lockett played almost all the snaps. They got like 3 or 4 snaps off apiece. And on the season, they're both around 90 to 95% of the snaps played, which is what you would expect from players of their caliber. Now, Eskridge was injured. He did not play, so Freddie Swain picked up basically all the slack. He got 41 snaps against the Titans. So after 2 games, he's actually got 64 snaps under his belt, which is about 60% of the total. So he's getting a lot of run in this offense, and he is making some plays with it. That touchdown was a broken coverage. I'm not going to give him a ton of credit for that, but he is doing some positive things with the snaps he's getting. Penny Hart, the training camp warrior, the guy that was getting some hype coming out of training camp, has a total of 5 snaps on the season after playing just 3 against the Titans. So he is a clear afterthought on offense, has not been targeted once, has played less than 5% of the snaps so far. So that's wide receiver. Now we go to tight end, which is one of the most interesting discussion points with this team right now because for whatever reason, tight ends were not really utilized in the offense against the Titans. And it wasn't for lack of playtime. Gerald Everett was on the field for 43 snaps out of 54 against the Titans. That's actually most of your plays. That's actually over 3/4 of your play. So he was out there and somehow only got targeted twice. I don't understand it. I don't know what he was doing out there exactly. That's something I may look at later this week to try to determine why Everett was not part of the passing game, but he was out there. And through 2 games, he's been out there a lot more than he hasn't been. Close to 80% of the snaps against the Titans. Now, Disley was out there a little less. He only played 26 snaps, which is less than half, but he was still out there for 48% of the snaps. and did not get targeted once. This is odd, given the fact that the Titans were getting good pass rush against the Seahawks. You would think that you would find a lot of checkdowns and dump-offs to Will Dissly profitable for your offense, and yet we did not even try to do it once. So we still are using a lot of multiple tight ends through 2 games. Dissly's been out there a total of 60%. Everett's over 75%. And Parkinson's still injured, so he obviously hasn't played yet. Mabry did not play at all against the Titans. So you can see some slight tweaks to the offense against the Titans compared to the Colts. We didn't use tight ends quite as much in terms of being on the field, and we didn't really use them at all in the actual game plan. But again, Everett was out there. I need to look at some tape to figure out what he was doing out there and why he wasn't involved in the offensive attack at all, but yeah, something's not right there, because it's not like he was on the sideline the whole game. Okay, so now we swing over to the defense, and there's some really interesting stuff here and some stuff that I don't know if I like. I don't know if I can explain it. Carlos Dunlap. Now, okay, before I go into this, the Seahawks played 88 defensive snaps against the Titans. 88. I know we played overtime, but that is highly unacceptable and a huge issue with the bend but don't break defense. Bend but don't break implies that you're giving up a lot of plays. You just hope you don't give up points. And this is where you can start to argue that players like Trey Flowers are a problem, because I think a lot of the hate towards Trey Flowers is overstated and unfair. And I don't think he's playing that bad. And I think the blame that is thrown his way from a lot of people is just people who don't like him for one reason or another and want to run him out of town because they just don't like him. They don't even really care if things are his fault or not. They just want to run him out. But I will say this. Him giving up yards, which I don't think was the reason why we lost that game on Sunday, is making the defense play more snaps. And in a game like this, where you end up going to overtime, it really adds up. 88 defensive snaps is way too much and highly unacceptable. Now, with that being said, of those 88 snaps, Carlos Dunlap, our best defensive end, one of our big gets in free agency, I know he was technically re-signed, but we had to let him go and then bring him back, played 26 snaps. That's like 30%. What the hell? I don't get it. How can you play 26 snaps out of 88 against a prolific offense? I know they were running the ball a lot. I know they have the best running back in the league maybe, but what the heck is that? Can somebody explain that to me? I don't know what's going on with Dunlap. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's old and we made a mistake bringing him back. I don't know if he's washed. I don't know if the coaching staff is just stupid. Well, I kind of do know the coaching staff is stupid, but not stupid like this. 26 snaps for your best defensive end, about 30% barely of the snaps. What is going on? And by the way, your other defensive end that has already done a lot of positive things this year had 18, Alton Robinson. And Alton Robinson is young. He can take on a big workload if he needs to. Why is he playing 18 out of 88 snaps? 30 snaps in 2 games, not even 20%. And he made a big play yesterday. He made one of the only big plays the pass rush had the whole game. I don't get it. Now, those guys sat so guys like Benson Mayowa could play 57 snaps. Kerry Hyder played 51. Rasheem Green played 56. Now, I like those guys. They're okay. Mayowa's serviceable. Hyder's good. Rasheem Green, he played great against the Colts. He deserves more playing time, but what the heck? Dunlap's your best defensive end. And Robinson's the young guy on this team who has shown the most promise. He had a good rookie year, and he played really well against the Colts in limited snaps. He made a huge play for the defense yesterday, and you don't play him. What the heck is going on? This is the second week in a row Alton Robinson has barely seen the field. I know, and again, I know he's young, but with youth comes the ability to play a lot of snaps. And I'm sorry. I know Benson Mayo is okay, but I didn't see much from him yesterday in 57 snaps. 57 is too much to play for him anyway, but I didn't see that much production from him. I didn't see a lot from Rasheem Green either. I don't know what he did out there to warrant putting him out there that many times. I don't get it. Now, the good news is no defensive end is playing more than two-thirds of the snaps, which is a positive development for this defense for sure. The bad news is they're still playing way too many snaps because the defense is on the field too long. And that's where also the offense comes into play, because the offense needs to keep themselves on the field so the defense doesn't have to rush back out there every 2 minutes. Defensive tackles, pretty much what you would expect, but again, too much of a workload because we played too many overall snaps. Poona Ford played 63. Now, 63 out of 88 is not a bad percentage, and on the season, Poona's at 70%, which is reasonable, but it's too many snaps. Al Woods playing 60 snaps in a game is highly, highly unacceptable, but again, when you play 88 snaps, it's just what's going to happen, unfortunately. He's still only played half the snaps this year, roughly. Now, part of the problem was no Brian Monet, and if you take a look at how we replaced him, LJ Collier had 20 snaps. We're missing one of our starting defensive tackles or rotational defensive tackles, and LJ Collier gets 20 snaps? I'm not even going to get mad at the coaches for that. This is an LJ Collier problem. Apparently the dude just is that bad. Whatever. He actually got a pressure on Sunday, by the way, but give me a break. Monet's out and Collier can barely get on the field. Kimdichie got 36 snaps and actually seemed to play okay other than the penalty. So somehow, some way, we actually thought Kimdichie could have a bigger impact in this game than Collier, which is not a good sign for Collier. But decent spread for defensive tackles, just way too many overall snaps. Okay, linebacker. Bobby Wagner played every snap, as he pretty much always does, and had a great game, honestly. Jordan Brooks played about 80% of the snaps. I know he got benched for a little bit because he committed a dumb personal foul on Tannehill running out of bounds. I think he got punished a little bit for that, but he definitely did not have one of his better games. He played great against the Colts. Titans, I didn't really see much. Still played about 80% of the snaps, and he's playing 85% overall, which is pretty good. Barton picked up the slack when Brooks went out. He played 11 snaps, so he's at 19 for the season. Okay. Darrell Taylor. I know he's young. I know he's not somebody you want to play massive snaps, but again, with youth comes the endurance to play a lot. And in a game like yesterday where we were getting very little pass rush, I feel like playing Darrell Taylor more than 23 snaps, barely over a quarter of the total number of defensive snaps. I don't get it. Why not give him a little more burn? Why not give him more opportunities to rush the passer? There were people in my chat yesterday saying, I didn't see much from Darrell Taylor today. And yeah, you didn't, but he only played 23 snaps. You got to give him more opportunities. And again, I understand the Titans were running the ball the whole game and they had success there, but they were passing the ball a lot too. So don't tell me you can't get Taylor on the field a little bit more to just focus on his pass rush. That's another thing I don't get coming out of this game. We have guys on this team who are playing way too many snaps despite just being mediocre to slightly above mediocre players. And the guys on this team with high upside are not seeing the field as much right now. I want an explanation. And nothing for Ballore, nothing for Radigan, of course. All right, cornerback. This is going to be actually really quick because the Seahawks played a lot of 5 defensive lineman sets against the Titans because they wanted to stop the run. So because of that, we didn't play a lot of nickel. DJ Reed played every snap. Trey Flowers played every snap. We barely played nickel overall. Amadi was on the field for 25 snaps. Blair was on the field for 13 snaps. That's well under half the total number of defensive snaps, 38 out of 88. So we were not in nickel very much against the Titans because we wanted to stop the run. And guess what? We ended up not stopping the run. It started out okay. We stopped the run in the first half, but ultimately we did not stop the run. And Blair, I know PFF did not like the game he played against the Titans. Something's not clicking right now there. We see the talent, but he's not making plays, and it seems like he's giving stuff up in coverage. So I don't know what's exactly going on with Marquise Blair right now, but I'm not seeing it right now. So Amadi seems to be wrestling control of the nickel corner position away from Blair. And Amadi, I like Amadi, but he's not anything special either. So I really want to see this nickel corner situation develop as the season goes on, and hopefully swing towards Blair as the season goes, because I think that Blair's more talented, but he needs to be a little more consistent. And that's it for Snap Count Monday. The end summation would be, I like some of the stuff we did on offense with the running back splits, but I don't understand what we're doing on defense with this defensive line rotation. So, got to get better. We got 15 games left to get better, but we're running out of games we can lose because this division is that good. All right, see you guys later.